Hey everyone, Chomsky here. A freshly shaven Chomsky, and we're going to be talking about Sniktraak, somebody that I think could be really useful for Chimera, and really that's what I'm trying to focus in on with him. Just because I think he's been getting some loving from the recent focus events of him potentially being an X15, X25, so on and so forth. So just wanted to kind of highlight him. Dude looks neat. I mean, just a giant porcupine, kind of like, just a thief porcupine. Really neat. He's HP based, so I'm not expecting a lot of damage from him whatsoever. So, um, again, my thing, whenever I see an HP based champ, I'm thinking primarily support, kind of maximize that as much as we can. So I'm thinking HP, defense, speed, and that typically lines up. But let's take a look at him. Um, dude, dude's A1 is that he's attacking one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a decrease attack. If the enemy is under a leech, has 100% of placing decrease attack for 2 turns before attacking. Okay, cool. Putting out there, just another debuff as well as a pretty big one of a decrease attack. Again, we want to live. We want our enemies to die or do minimum damage, and this will help out with that. And that's a 75% chance. So, okay, if there is no leech, 75% chance, but because of his passive, it's most likely going to be a leech. So, moving forward, without getting ahead of ourselves, his A2 is a 3-turn cooldown. It's an AoE, placing a decreased speed that turns into a 100% chance as long as our accuracy procs. Also places a shield equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. It cannot be removed when there's anybody under a leech. Okay. Um, Spoiler alert, I have him in protection. Uh, that's not really necessary. Um, yeah, because we're going to be busting out leeches left and right. Because on the A3, we're doing an ally protection as well as a reflect damage. Then heals this champion by 50% of their max HP. Okay, 3-turn cooldown, doing an ally protect, so some damage mitigation there, as well as a reflect damage. The sucky thing about reflect damage is that it doesn't really do that much, because that has to it has to essentially proc when our HP gets hit. So if we have a shield out there or stone skin, this is not going to proc because the way that the coding is that it's reflective of the damage to our HP. Uh, the reflect damage is then proccing from that. So 30% of that HP loss is then going to be turned back to the enemy. And then I alluded to it before, the passive is that whenever an ally under reflect damage buff is attacked, places a leech on the attacker. Cool. Reflects 50% of the damage this champion receives back to the attacker, increases the amount of damage reflected by 20% from reflect damage. Okay, let's break it down. We need to go first. We need to get reflect damage out there because we then have a leech opportunity. Okay? If we don't have the ability to bust out that reflect damage, then this doesn't really matter. So we need to get this speed tuned against the Chimera, um, and then try to make sure that we have all of those skills available to us. So we're going to do some reworking on him as well. I have him in Brimstone. Um, I don't know about this. This is my second version of him. First version I was really excited. I thought he'd be really good for clan boss, and he just didn't make it. So I had him in Brimstone. it kind of helps with that regard, but like I have a 5 star on him. I don't need to be doing that, especially since we're placing a shield. So immediately I'm thinking maybe emergency heal. Because a shield placed on them, and he's busting out those shields and he's getting healed. I think that's really big, and that's going to be a 9,000 HP bump up to him. That's helpful. Um, that could be the case. Um, he's not busting out continuous heals, so that doesn't matter. Uh, Nature's Bounty doesn't make sense. Nature's Wrath, maybe. But it's capped at 15, so basically 5 times. Not really digging that too much. Um, again, the reflect damage doesn't really help too much. There's cruelty, like as a 5 star. It's decreasing defense, so it's going to help out our team. That's a possibility. Heaven cast could be the case. Because he is going to be doing a lot of buffs. Like for us, he's busting out reflect damage, ally protect, and a shield. So there's 3 right there. Um, you know, it's a possibility. Um, in this example, excuse me, that's 7.5 damage. Um, you know, I that could be the case, just to get a little bit more HP out of him. So I got to think about it from an aspect of, do I want him to be supportive, or do I want him to be as damagey as I can? So it's one of those, it's that fork in the road where it's like, okay, I'm gonna lean towards emergency heal because I want him to live as much as I can, I think. So here's his masteries that I had from a long time ago. I'm definitely going to be changing this up a little bit. I enjoy the accuracy support build here, um, because he is busting out a lot of buffs. So it's okay on that one. I love Lore of Steel. Uh, Evil Eye doesn't really count, so I could definitely change this up to be Cycle of Magic, or even, um, Merciful Aid. Hmm. Let's let's do it. Let's do it live here. um, and I do want to be mindful of this, that whenever an ally under a reflect damage buff is attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. So I don't need accuracy on that. You know, I do need accuracy to do the decreased speed, and I do need accuracy to land the decrease attack. So I do need accuracy. So that's a standard. Um, I want increased shields because he's busting out the shields. I do want increased accuracy. Again, more accuracy the better. And this is where I got kind of like in my head a little bit here. I could do Healing Savior for him to bust out more shields and more healing. Or I can give him more turn meter. Or I give him more accuracy. It's always this segment that gets me going here. So I'm pretty sure I can make up the accuracy. I I like turn meter increasing, and this is only if somebody has 40% or less. So I am okay like this, and this is only if shield and healing, if the ally has stun, sleep, fear, true fear, or freeze. So in Chimera, stun happens, fear and true fear does happen as well. That could be a potential. I do not want Evil Eye because it doesn't really happen. Decreasing turn meter doesn't count. So I am okay with Lore of Steel. And I may be going for Merciful Aid. Um, Again, I'm seeing Sniktraak as just a support, so yeah, I think I'm okay with that. But I do want to make sure I, I could extend, you know, the reflect damage. I could also extend the ally protect with lasting gifts. So I like that idea. I don't care about each dead ally. He doesn't revive, so that doesn't matter. Um, a 5% chance to place any debuff. Okay. Sniper would work. So I'm going to take that. To get this, I would definitely have to put in Cycle of Magic or Merciful Aid. So thinking of him as a Chimera champ could potentially work on this regard. Um, I do like the idea of 5%, but I'm going to go with this and then go with Lasting Gifts. Now the last little bit, Elixir of Life, I no. When an ally hero drops below 25% HP, this could be good. Um, since he is a support, he does heal. I don't know about that one. He is busting out a lot of debuffs. So having this as a potential could work as well. Getting more accuracy. This is basically an accuracy banner. I'm okay with oppressor, but I also want to take a look at the other side here. I could get him to be doing a little bit of damage too. So initially I had him all the way down to War Master. Uh, Frankly, just to get as much, ignoring defense is good. This is a little bit better than War Master, so I'm okay with that. But that's a final leg. So do I want him to get faster? And this is for each active debuff cast by this champion. So it stacks up to 10. Um, so really just 4, and he gets another 10% speed. I think that's really good. And for him, I know that he's not going to be doing nearly as much damage. So I'm okay with that. Sorry, it's oppressor. I'm okay with this. So in the meantime, I could have him in a defense build. You know, um, Chimera's not healing. He's not really killing anyone. You know, really what I'm looking at is delayed death. He's already posting out leech, so that doesn't matter. Um, to have him counterattack would be cool, but that's just a lot to get to there. Um, So I'm going to go with the basic damage here. Choosing crit and crit damage. He's not killing anyone there, so I'm okay with him healing. And then primarily he's going to have less max HP than others, so that's okay. He's not going to be exceeding 30% of a target's max HP, so I'm okay with this. And then having him just do A1s here, that's fine. Yeah. So that's how I have him built up as a masters in the masteries. So now we're going to go over to his kit here. And he's not fully up there. Like, honestly, this is just stuff I have together that, is a skeleton that I could then build up and pick and choose from other champions if I need it. So again, he's HP based, so I have him at 121 HP. The dude is +4, so there is a whole lot of empowerment skills here. So this is kind of underwhelming, but it's for a champion that has been gathering dust, and really, I'm not really using him anywhere. So he's not been the main focus. So I'm not really dragging equipment from my other core, um, my core, to put on him. So I'm okay with this. He has almost 4,000 defense, about 260 H speed. So moderately fast. I would love to get him up to 300, you know, 320. Just this way, I have more confidence in putting that reflect damage out there. So this is going to get tinkered with for a little bit. Dude's busting out with 77% crit rate. So basically 3 out of 4 times he's critting. Again, we want to bump this up to 100 as much as we can if we're focusing in on the damage element. So when he does crit, it's at 177. I have him at 390 resistance, and then he's kind of low at 444 of accuracy. I would like to get him more accurate. Um, but instead of having an accuracy banner, I went with an HP banner. I could uh, I could go for um, where are you? I thought I had it lined up. I apologize. I could go for an accuracy banner, um, but I also want him to stick around. Like here, it's not fully maxed, obviously, but to get another 62 accuracy is nice. I could glyph out the speed to be very similar, but 10,000 HP is a lot. So I didn't do that. But it is a possibility. And again, we have some more room to grow here. I didn't glyph any of these because dude's potion poor, man. I have him in a decent ring here. It's only singles for now, but it has the potential to be a double. And if it gets in the bottom here, that's really great. You know, so there's a whole lot here. I could also change this out to be HP percentage, and that's a possibility. You know, uh, so I mean, there's definitely some more ascending that can happen that just makes a lot of sense for him. Um, so there's definitely room here, but I am satisfied with his HP. Defense could go up as well as speed. Resistance is a lot, and that's okay. Um, and if I'm thinking about just Chimera, then I don't need protection on him. It's just that he has the speed bonuses and the HP. It just makes a lot of sense. And then to get him to nine pieces, that'd be really great. The 5% more for each buff. He is busting out a shield. He is busting out ally protection and reflect damage. So that's another 15% there. And that would be really sweet. You know, if I do a quick pinpoint, if I was to take that away, I don't really have the greatest. of items that can be brought on him. Um, I don't want to take away from Marius. This is pretty sweet. So if I was to do it, you know, if I was to try this on right now, he would have that protected. And I mean, the accuracy's very low at 370, but we could always glyph out just a little bit, make it a little bit more solid. He's only missing out on basically 100 defense, 1 speed. He gains crit damage, and he loses 9,000 HP. So it's not the end of the world. I'll save it as uh, V2, just version 2, and and maybe he gets used. I don't have a key to run him in because I already did it, but just food for thought. And honestly, that's all that this is. Just dusting them off and thinking about where we could utilize them. Um, yeah, thanks for watching, and I look forward to making an update on this when I get my Chimera key. Um, yeah. So yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. Stay tuned for version 3. Take care.